Hi everyone, I'm Aviat Cohen at AV Master, and today in my renovated virtual space, I have no other than Mark Coxon, the Regional Sales Director at HD Distributing. How are you, Mark?
I am doing awesome. Thanks for having me.
I am having you. It is. Thank you for coming aboard. First of all, a little bit about what your company does.
Yeah, so I work for a company called HD Distributing, and we distribute LED-based products, direct view LED screens. But we also do a lot of pre-sales engineering. We help dealers come up with, the mounting solutions, what kind of controllers, processors, et cetera. So, what I say, we're the easy on ramp to LED for companies that are trying to get into that market.
So when you say LEDs, you spoke of all the differences, but they weren't on this video. So just the general disclaimer, which LED technology is that?
We do direct view LED, which are actual, small light emitting diodes that are all placed next to each other in a
The
row.
tile ones, right?
Exactly, the tiles. Exactly.
Cool. Mark, question one. Why do you see such confusion in the display industry?
I think it's actually due to marketing confusion. Marketing companies love to latch on to buzzwords. I remember a few years ago, 240 hertz was like the thing everybody was talking about, but
Oh
actually
yeah.
none of our video signals are actually 240 hertz. It was just the TV was refreshing, faster and faster and faster. Today it happens to be LED. They like to throw LED on everything, whether it means what we were talking about or not. So I think it happens to be that marketing tries to take the quickest path to creating some kind of buzz. They did it with resolution. We've got a 4K display. There might be an 8K display coming out. 8K's got to be better than 4K, right?
Not
So
necessarily. This depends on what you need.
exactly, but it's easy and it's easy for them to promote that way. And so, for me, it seems like a way to create buzz around a product without having to do kind of the hard work of bringing the knowledge of what the product actually does to people. So I think it's a shortcut, but that's where we're at. So
You spoke of a cheap buzz. I'm going to go for one here. It says, is there such thing, in your opinion, as the best display technology, or just could it just be that it's the right tool for the right job?
I'm a firm believer in the right tool for the right job. And I used to work with a project manager that said horses for courses, right? There's some horses that were good on short tracks in the mud, and some horses that were good at long distance, right? And you bet on the one that was on that course. I think displays are exactly the same way. I think if you have you want to get a large image on a wall for the best price per pixel, and you have controllable light and all those things, projection's still a great technology.
Oh yeah.
If you're trying to put something out on the side of the freeway and get somebody's attention in traffic on a billboard, you're gonna have to use something like LED that's bright enough to overcome the sun and has the right contrast. So I'm a firm believer in the right product for the right project.
Yeah, there is no rule of the thumb here, like the best one. Just otherwise, I keep hearing all these declarations about killing all kinds of technologies, like LCDs dead, OLEDs dead, projectors are dead. No, I think there's room for everyone. There's a need for each one for each, application. It's never the same, and I think that's what makes this industry so much fun to be in.
Yeah.
But speaking of the rule of the thumb, I told you I'm gonna make this hard for you, but what tip or tips could you provide for those seeking to get a new display? And I'm gonna make this even more difficult. First, imagine you were to say this rule of the thumb for both domestic and enterprise user.
Yeah. So my rule of thumb has always been do the demo. It's go see the product. You can read cut sheets, you can watch videos, you can look at the product online through your computer screen on a video or some kind of explainer or unboxing. But audio and video are two of the most subjective things you can buy. I used to sell residential audio video, and I've done commercial audio video. No two people agree on what the best sounding speaker is. No two people agree on what the best looking screen is. It's very subjective. So what I would say is, if, especially depending on the magnitude of the purchase, always go and look at what you're considering buying. Look at the alternatives. And trust your eyes and ears, because it is something that you're going to have to live with after you purchase it, instead of trusting the marketing cut sheet.
Agreed. I would like to add to that, if I may. Um, the bigger the budget or the bigger the project, go for a mock-up where possible, adjust the lighting where possible. And 100%, you need to use the distance you're going to be sitting or standing, the viewing angle, and get the source. If it's a special PC that you have, bring that, a laptop or a Blu-ray player, if these still exist, or an Xbox console or PlayStation, whatever. Just bring it with you. Make sure you like what you see, because these things run demos that look awesome, might not be the same experience at home or office. And those are a huge letdown. Huge. Why would you believe, or why do you believe that LED is the future technology for displays?
I think there are room for a lot, but I think LED obviously has a strong future. And the reason that it has a strong future is, the pixel pitches, the pixels are getting smaller and smaller. So resolution is getting better and better and better, especially at close-up viewing. The cost, it keeps coming down, continues to come down as kind of lines come online and all those things. So I think, the trajectory of the price point and the trajectory of the quality of the technology are on the right path, that LED is going to be a very strong player, and probably, start to come into, applications at a price where, traditionally maybe you can only do projection or LCD for that cost. And you're going to start to see LED really be a viable option, even in the same budget ranges. So
I think the initial target is 140 or 130 inches. Those used to be preserved for projectors.
Mm-hmm.
And while there are some amazing laser technology out there with projectors that will stay on for 6-7 years, 24/7, no picture burn-in or anything, but LED is emitting, objectively far better lighting than that. If you use video conferencing or UC applications, those are a must pretty much everywhere. With a hybrid way of working, it seems to be inevitable. My feeling, it's going to hit, first of all, the huge battle is going to take, the 120, 130, 140 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And once those price points, as you mentioned, they're going to go down, those projects are going to go up. And again, there's room for everyone, but I think, right tool for the right job. And I used to reserve these questions for the end of the year or the beginning of the year, but it's an all-season question. If you use your crystal ball right now, you have a lot of veterancy in this industry. What do you see as the next evolution? What's coming up next for the displays technology? It's going to be like a print on any surface, so just whatever. You could go wild. There is no wrong or right answer here.
Sure. I've always been excited about the possibilities of OLED because it's printed on a film. We've seen a lot of transparent OLED signs for retail and stores and things like that. But imagine if they could scale OLED to something that was 10 feet tall by 20 feet wide, and you just roll it out on a wall and electrify it. Now all of a sudden you've created pretty much video wallpaper. We're seeing that now, like in some of the applications. One of the ones that was interesting was the OLED TV that comes up out of the mantle, that rolls up into a little box and then
that
comes
was
out.
Awesome.
Yeah, right. So, imagine now, flip that over and make that 120 inches. And now instead of a projector and a drop down screen, that is coming down out of the ceiling and provides its own light. You're not actually having to project on it. So I think OLED and its flexibility, as soon as they get a little more scale, so they can get beyond that 75, 85 inch range, then they're going to have a lot more possibilities with that technology. The other one that was interesting, that I talked to a guy who was a laser engineer once when I worked for a company that built laser projectors. And he was real excited about the idea of material science for projection, because you can lock a red, a green, and a blue laser to a very specific wavelength. So imagine, you talked about printing, imagine taking a black wall and just printing dots on it, and those dots will only reflect one of those 3 wavelengths of light. And now all of a sudden you can create a wall that has really, really high contrast with a laser projector. And again, you don't have any actual electronics on the wall at all. So I think there are a lot of cool things coming, obviously, over time. I'm just excited to be part of this industry and be able to help people kind of, I guess, explore that, right? So.
One, I would have to agree on that one. I think it's the best gift we can have, just working in an industry that we actually love, and usually like being very nice to the visitors that are coming by, getting some stuff, going out, and we get to experience and see and educate ourselves all the time about what's coming out. And I think the important thing is whether you create your own thoughts and make your own ideas about what's going to happen. And with that, I will conclude our small session. Mark, Coxon, thank you very much for attending. Next time we will have fresher coffee for you. Sorry, fresh out.
Yeah, that was a letdown, honestly. The one thing I was waiting for.
Yeah, we're gonna get you a slushy because I see you're wearing a short sleeve one.
Yeah, it's California. We get to do.
It's extremely cold these days, but it might get better. So I thank you very much for coming here, and I'm definitely gonna have you over for more fun videos, and be warned, they're gonna be outside your comfort zone, outside of LEDs, but see where it gets us there.
I'm good. I'm always open. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. See you.
Take care.